All right, we had a very volatile day today. Saw a lot of intraday movement. Again, we were up at the beginning, and basically the first half an hour, about 100 points, and then we sort of gave it back, and then pretty much closed pretty much flat, which definitely shows that the bears had a good handle on the intraday type of movement. But again, I would not. I'd be very careful going short the S&P. I would actually like to see these areas break. So again, around this area right here, the 2040 area is where I would want to see some type of break before I would say, okay, let's get to the bearish side. If we're looking at the weekly, we do see that we have a break of a previous week's low today. So again, we just have to see how this price action works out. But again, you want to see how these things can play itself out. Excuse me. So again, we're not going to be overly bearish, but again, we're going to say, okay, we saw a lot of names that didn't look good to the upside, but we have to keep caution towards that. Let's look at the diamond on the daily aspect. You see that we've broken down. Again, the volume increased a little bit, but again, this retracement is only about 38% from these lows. So I wouldn't be too and it might just be to squeeze out the breakout traders and continue to the upside, but we'll see how this one plays itself out. Again, we did get a weekly break of a low as well on the diamond, so we'll see how this one plays out as well. IWM, excuse me. IWM, we saw that again we broke the low. We're currently maintaining these previous highs. Um, this area came to test down here. We saw the volume really died off last week, and again the volume is going to be pretty light, so we got to see if this one breaks into this previous band of support, see if it's actually in a hole. I would not be shorting too aggressively, but again, you could take a nibble up here, maybe half position on a couple different things, and go from there. The QQQ on the weekly we can see we have a lower high as well, but again, if you look at the retracement, is nothing to really say, okay, let's go, balls to the wall, or we're going to look at any type of top or anything like that. Just keep that stuff in mind. Again, the volume dried up. You see we had this hammer formation. A lot of people trade off the break. Again, they break this low. A lot of people are going to be getting out and go from there. So again, let's look at some individual names quickly. We can see that we had the GoPro close near the highs, so we'll have to see again. My level of support, or my level of getting stopped out, will be around this 70-71 area. I also took an Amazon short, which is looking good. I need to break below. It closed pretty low, and I also took a Tesla short, which I don't know if it's gonna pan out because it did a pretty good reversal intraday. So we can see again, if it breaks above this level right here, I will get out. But I did short this one. I was stalking this one for a while, so we'll see how this one pans out and goes from there. Again, we have the weekly sell signal on the week, so we'll see how this one goes. Again, if it breaks below this low or last week's low, well, this week's low next week, we can see that again we'll come back and test this 190 area, which will be around where my target would be. Excuse me, I'm under the weather a little bit. We got Tesla. We have Apple. Apple weekly, we saw some another sell signal basically for Apple if you're trading the weeklies, and again your stop would be above here. The daily again, it's still looking weak. It's still looking weak, and I'll be very cautious regarding going long this name right now. I need a break of a high to even consider it. Baba, we see as well. This one is continuing to the downside. Again, if you shorted here, again, it'd be for quick scalps. I don't know if you would short right here. That would be pretty aggressive. But you should be rolling your stops because we don't know exactly where this is going to go. So, well, we never do. So you're probably like, yeah, that's Captain Obvious stuff. But again, looking at the weekly time frame, we can see that it has broken below these previous week's lows, and kind of go from there. So if it picks some more volume, we have to be very cautious of that. But if we're looking at the fib, we can see it's still above 50% of the entire range. So again, it's still in a stronger position, and we'll take it from there. But just be very, very cautious regarding going into that name. We have also, last but not least, I'll look at Twitter. Twitter is still looking bearish in my opinion. Again, it's just not giving you much. So let's look at the daily, kind of give you some price action. You can see that this price action is pretty much going to the downside, and just to be very, very cautious regarding adding to a long, because I would not long here. Again, I like stuff that's trending, and this is not trending. This is trending to the downside. So if you're looking to go long, let there be some type of divergence or something like that. You know, maybe a pop above these type of levels and give you a nice dip back and maybe go into the upside if you're looking for a target of this swing point. But we'll see what happens. Again, today was a pretty crazy day. Again, I will show that quickly. Excuse me. SPY, and let's look at the 15-minute. You can kind of see exactly what happened today regarding how much volatility. Again, it gapped up, and then pretty much just rolled. And again, we want to see it get above this 50-day, 50% move. You see that it pretty much got to it, and then it looks like it's folding back to the downside. So it's still in a weaker position regarding intraday. So let's see what happens. And again, Monday is another day. Hopefully the New Year is going well, and I'm looking forward to the John Jones Cormier fight this weekend. So if you guys have a chance to take that in, UFC fight, and I love it. Take care.